This is my home entertainment setup. It's not fancy with an OLED panel or decked out with all the consoles. But what it is dominated by my beloved Philips hi-fi speakers connected to an Onkyo AVR. It's a lovely setup, it sounds great, but it is a little bit impractical for the size of the room. I've always thought about a sound bar, but then not really sure because surely it can't put out such a good sound, right? Well, the guys at Creative Labs wanted to challenge that and they sent over not one but two of their sound bars for review. So this is my review of the Sound Blaster Katana V2 and the Stage Air V2. Are they worth it? Let's find out. Hey guys, I'm Ryan Thomas and these are my reviews. Let's talk about the two creative products on show here today. The Air V2 is a portable soundbar that can be used under a monitor, next to a laptop, or independently as a Bluetooth speaker. It costs about £55, which I think is quite reasonable given the quality of the sound, the quality of the product, and actually how versatile it is. It has tactile controls on the side, pairs easy as you like with Bluetooth, but also has a 3.5mm port and USB-C in. You can also charge this thing via USB-C as well, and it does have a battery inside to give between 5 and 6 hours of playtime. I found well over 4.5, 5 hours on around a third volume, so I would expect these claims to hold up pretty well for everyone else as well. It looks pretty sleek out of the box, but I have to say that this piano black finish will very quickly show scratches, and so I would dock it points for that, especially given it's meant to be a bit more portable. Speaking of which, unless you have a tiny backpack, it will fit in your backpack, so you could use it as a Bluetooth speaker. I've done this several times. I've taken it out even under shelter in the rain, and it's worked fine, although your mileage may vary. You've got to keep it fairly dry. But yeah, it seems to work quite well as a Bluetooth speaker. Sounds really good. Quite full, you know, for something of this size, you don't expect to have a home cinema level experience, but actually I found that there's quite a lot of depth to the sound, decent highs, decent mids, good bass to it as well. And given the price point and its versatility, I would say a good enough sound easily. It is also designed to fit under a computer monitor. I've actually not exactly stuck it directly underneath the monitor, but between two of my monitors, and have used it as sort of a PC speaker. Works really well listening to podcasts, playing the odd sort of casual game. You don't really want to be playing competitive FPSs with this thing. And also, you know, for general productivity, if I'm getting something done and I want to have good sound from my computer, this is nice. You can reposition it because it uses Bluetooth, or, you know, for extra battery life, connect it via 3.5mm. Very versatile thing. You could use it with a small TV. It's probably going to sound better than like the really tinny TV speakers, although if you've got nicer speakers, maybe you're better off using those. Again, very versatile, very impressed with this product. Very good product. Let's move on to the next one. Moving on to the star of the show here, the Sound Blaster Katana V2. This is where the stakes get higher. At a whopping £300, or near enough, is it really worth the money given that you can get a decent soundbar for your TV for less? Let's find out. It's a soundbar sub combo, so you get this and a 6.5-inch sub encased in a tall and thin cabinet alongside the 60cm blade-shaped soundbar. You get loads of bits out of the box to help you. You've got cables like optical, USB. You've then got the brackets to put it on the wall if you'd like as well. There's a lot going with this thing. The Katana V2, just like the Air that we saw earlier, packed with versatility. You can use HDMI ARC, you can use optical, you can use USB, you can use 3.5mm, you can use Bluetooth as well. 5 connectivity options if you really want to. You also get a 3.5mm port on the front for headphones, really good sounding amp in there. A set of 7-segment displays to almost give you this smoked plastics or blended look to the front. It looks quite nice. Tells you basic information like volume. And then an RGB underglow that gamers might love. I instantly turned it off, really not into RGB, but it's nice to have it. It gets very bright as well. Being as small as it is, it's kind of designed to sit under sort of 32-inch monitors around that size. Looks pretty decent on a desk, although you will need space underneath it. So if you've got your monitors on sort of a riser or possibly like on monitor arms, that's going to work better than if you have sort of big stands like I do on my desk. I've actually decided to use it in front of the TV. I have a 50-inch TV, so it's not a huge, probably about average size TV these days. And then the soundbar is quite a lot shorter than it, so you're not taking up any sort of horizontally extra space. That's the thing I was looking for in this soundbar, is there's nothing either side of the TV. It's sat underneath, doesn't take up any more sort of X-axis. There's a decent amount of wire length to connect to the subwoofer. which takes up a lot more space, quite heavy, but because it's less directional, you can kind of stick it where you want. Although, asterisk on that, more about that later. The included remote is, well, I mean, it's good and bad. One, really good remote, really well laid out. I like that there's a dedicated subwoofer volume. Really nice to have, especially if you're sort of staying up a bit late at night and you've got parents or you've got loved ones asleep and you just want to continue watching. You can turn the sub down so it's less boomy, kind of gets less annoying for others at nighttime. But the big downside is this product's £300 and it didn't come with batteries. Now I know, we could settle this debate forever. I would say personally, it's good that you use AAAs because they're replaceable, not like a lithium ion that's unlikely to be replaceable if it does go wrong. But you got to include batteries for a £300 product like this. I got to dock points for that. I'm sorry, but it's just got to be done. There is an app you can use to connect to the soundbar, change the profiles. I got rid of this sort of crystal setting I'll put on the screen. It's like a crystalline. I think the idea is that you make sort of vocals a little bit clearer, but honestly, it just makes it sound tinnier, so I turned it off. What I found is that the soundbar relies hugely on the sub to give you those mids and sort of lower mids. So if you turn the sub all the way down, it's going to sound way tinnier, not just at the bass and sub bass levels, but actually also in the mids as well. And I also found that I had to turn the sub down because it was very boomy, and that's because I had it in the wrong position. You shouldn't put a sub in the corner because it's going to reflect those vibrations off the wall and create a very boomy sound, a very droney sound. It's not very nice. I mean, if you're really into your bass, maybe it sounds all right, but really it's not a very attractive sound. What you want is to have it more in the open so that you're getting better sort of vibrations. It's acoustically better tuned. And then you can have your sub at sort of 0, which is about the middle of the ground setting, and go from -6 to +6 dB. Set it at 0 and it actually will sound a lot fuller, and the sound from the soundbar, you'll notice, is a lot better as well. The sound's definitely not home theatre levels, but if you live in a small space and you need something that's this small that can deliver some punchy bass as well, I would say the sound's pretty decent. I watched a couple of films on it and I found actually that, once you get past the fact that it's not crazy, I mean, the speakers I had set up before were way better, but it's miles better than inbuilt TV speakers, and you get immersed in it and it does not put you off. So I can say for certain that it's a decent setup, but it's not going to give you that sort of full sounds that you expect from a £300 soundbar. The way that this product is set up is actually more for gamers. It has more features to it than necessarily just sound quality. The fact that I can come in and put some Spotify on my soundbar immediately, don't have to turn the TV on, it's all Bluetooth, that's very nice to have. The fact you get so many connectivity options. I've been using optical for just ease of use basically. I don't have any more HDMI ports in my TV for ARC or anything like that. Really, really nice as well. It's a good product, but it's £300 and I don't know if I can recommend it for £300. The thing is, it's in an awkward situation. If you live in a really tight space and you have £300 to spend on a soundbar, this is pretty decent, I would say. It's versatile, it's nice, it's good looking, it's a nice quality product. Creative always have really created good quality products. The issue is though, if you have more money and more space, you can get a much better setup. But if you have less money and more space, you can get a much better setup. So a good quality setup, like a 2.0 setup, maybe a 2.1 setup, it's going to cost you around half. A much better sounding soundbar in a 2.1 setup is going to cost you less as well. But obviously they take up more space, so it is kind of awkward. For a PC enthusiast or a gamer, I would say that this is actually a very good setup, but it's £300. Again, do you want to justify that? Could you get away with a nice set of headphones and a DAC? It's going to be a lot cheaper. A set of 2.1 speakers, going to be cheaper. You really do have to be in the market for this particular product. It's one of two really in its space, it and Razer's offering. Razer's offering apparently not quite as good as this, but it is quite a bit cheaper. I wouldn't personally buy that product. I think the creative is always going to be better in that regard. It looks good, sounds decent, not otherworldly, but decent, and it does get very bassy if you do want to crank that sub all the way up and that kind of thing. And overall, I would say that, I don't think I can recommend it unless you want a particular product like this. In that case, this is better than its competition. But the star of the show really, as to, plot twist, is the Stage Air V2. That little soundbar, that £55, So versatile. I've used it way more. I've taken it out when I'm doing work outside. We've taken it on some trips, when we're out in the middle of nowhere and we just want to listen to a bit of music. I've used it on my desk as a PC speaker. I've used it as a Bluetooth speaker. It's fantastic. I will leave some links to where you can buy them in the video description, but this is in no way a sponsor video, as you can tell, because I've delivered my verdict on the review. I feel like it's both of them are good quality products. The Katana a little bit more niche, but the Stage Air V2 fantastic. So please do leave a like and comment and subscribe if you're new around here to never miss a video like this one. I want to give a massive shout out to my patrons for being continually supportive. Thank you all so much. I've been Ryan Thomas, and I will catch you later. Peace.